Read my lips better, you know. Read my lips. No new taxes. Ha ha ha. My phone is acting up. The battery's going funky. So I don't know. I may be in for buying a new phone before long, and I don't have the money for it. Just have to start making payments all over again. I wish there was you get pulse chargers for resuscitating old car batteries. I wish they'd make one for cell phones. I'm looking for something like that. A pulse resuscitating charger for lithium ion batteries. Anybody know of that one? Well, that'd be good. Okay. I got some water ready. Let me take a sip of water. Don't know if you've seen the title tonight, but I'm going to finish the book. It's chapters 27 and 28. Clothes for Inventory and The Greatest Gift of All. Chapters 27 and 28. So we'll finish it off. All good. My voice don't give out on me. Come on. Why won't this open? Not fair. One thing about spill-proof lids is this is a Contigo. If you put it in hot and it gets cold, then it vacuums down and it makes the top unable to pop up. This thing is supposed to pop up by itself. Now when it's hot, it'll boom off. The first time I shake it, it'll like explode off. And then the second one, it's a little bit less than the third time. The spring lets it go up. See, the spring's supposed to let it go up, but sometimes it's sucked down and can't because it cools down and creates a vacuum. Okay, negative pressure, let's put it that way. Approaching some kind of vacuum. All right. I'm reading this series of books, and I don't know if I'm going to continue or not. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. It just depends on motivation and everything. I'm not very highly motivated these days to do anything. I've been torn, put down so bad and damaged so bad, I'm just tired. I want to keep doing this just because it's what I wanted to do it for the sake of the idea that there's spiritual warfare, there's spiritual entities in this world that we're fighting against. And I see that all over. I see it in the news, I see it spiritually, I see it in, daily things happening to people that I'm working with around close to me. A lot of people are making bad decisions, really bad decisions. See how they play out, but not being honest, not being genuine with people is not good. I love the saying, I think it's Ralph Waldo Emerson, I'm not positive if I got the right person as a source, but it goes like this. You sow a thought, like you sow a seed. You sow a thought, you reap an action. You sow an action, you reap a character. You sow a character and you reap a destiny. And people are sowing bad thoughts, bad actions, bad characters, and they're going to reap bad destinies. And it's coming down on people, I think. So, you make bad decisions. I asked Bill one time here, I said, why is he in the predicament he's in, this one person? He said, bad life choices. And I'm like, well, those bad life choices are called sins. And if you keep doing the same sins, bad life choices is bad character, bad destiny. So he's going to reap the destiny that he's been sowing. So we'll see what happens. It may or may not. But I believe that's what's going to happen with a lot of people. You continuously, if your first response to a question is to lie about the question, the issue in question, you're establishing for yourself a lifetime of habit, of bad habits. You're sowing a thought, you're reaping an act, you're sowing that act, you're reaping a character. Your character is becoming the character of a liar, and your destiny will be that the Bible says that liars will not enter the kingdom of heaven. So if your life is characterized by lying, if that's your first course of action, and I know people that's becoming, I see it over and over again, in their lives they lie. And I don't want to see it. I don't want to even contemplate it. But it's true that they lie. I ask them, where'd this come from? Well, so and so left it here. Is this yours? We don't know whose it is. And they know darn well it was just brought over there by someone who's really pissed off at me. So it's bad. It's, if your first course of action, your first direction is to lie about something, then you're developing a character, a lifetime based on lies. It's just the way it is. So, backstabbing, turning on people, turncoat. That is the most disgusting, reprehensible thing I can think of. Everybody that I have helped has turned their back on me, turncoat. I'm not gonna. I'm whining. I'm not whining. I'm just saying, I feel sorry for these people. I really do, because they are not doing anything honorable. Especially the latest person. Nothing honorable has been done. It's all been based on lies, deceit. Basically stealing. Just bad karma, bad destiny. And destiny's going to catch up with them. Like I said, Jordan Peterson says you cannot twist the fabric of reality without having it snap back hard on you at some point in time down the line. And he says that in 40 years of counseling, he's never seen anybody get away with anything. The fabric of reality will snap back. So some people are dead. Some people have their cars destroyed. I don't know. It's just. I'm not deciding anything. I'm just waiting to see what happens to these people that are stealing and lying and developing as a course of action lying. Not good. Not good at all. Okay, so shut up, Jerry. Another little sermon for the night. Okay, clothes for inventory. Chapter 27. Spirit Fair Series, The Magic Bicycle was the first book. This is the second book, The Toy Campaign. And the third book is, I already read the first chapter of it, but I'm going to reread it. It's been a while. I thought this was the second book, but I looked at it. One guy said, I don't know, I'm confused now. Zeppelin Kabooma. Amazon said that's the third book. I said, yep, you're right, it's the third book, so I messed up. I'm going to read chapter 1 of that one again. All right, clothes for inventory. Chapter 27. The smoke and ashes that had rained down on the town of Centerville lingered through the night and the next day. Daylight came on July 5th with a fog of sour smoke hanging in the air. We had a fire last night, but no sour smoke this morning. In the toy store, Mrs. Happy was staring into the black window on her desk, but all she could see was flashing lights and things out of focus. 2 long black hooks lay idle in her hands. Curses, I still can't see, she screamed. The old woman rubbed her eyes. Those wicked, meddling children, how I'd like to get my hooks on them. They did it again, did it again. Did it again, did it again, Nell said. He hopped down on the desk and pecked at the old woman's hand. She swiped at him with a hook, but he fluttered away before getting hit. He perched up on a toy shelf and fluttered his back feathers. You're in trouble now. You're in trouble now. Never, Mrs. Happy said. The Bureau knows about these problems. The toys were distributed, so what if we are closed a while? We'll have another chance to use the toys. They may have spoiled one Target day, but we'll get our signature sooner or later. 4 little children can't stop us. We'll wear them down little by little. The factory will be opening soon. The school will start up. The point system must go into place with or without those brats. Dangerous, Nell warned. That can be dangerous. That can be dangerous. We'll figure a way, Mrs. Happy said. They'll bow to the order of the change. You'll see. We just need to find the right link and the right hook. No one can resist the change for long. She stared black down at the black window, but the flashing lights and static continued. We'll bide our time, Mrs. Happy said with a bitter smile. Just then there was a knock on the front door. The old woman walked slowly through the store. When she saw who was outside, she smiled. Barry Smedlow got off his bike. Mrs. Happy walked forward and unlocked it. Barry flashed his new and improved smile as the door opened. Welcome, my young prince, the old woman said. Really stinks outside today, doesn't it? Barry asked. Those were great fireworks last night. It was nice of you to give them to the town. Yes, it was, Mrs. Happy said, and I have so much more I want to give. Unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are closed for inventory today. Closed? Barry asked, but you just opened. Well, that's the toy business, Mrs. Happy said. Yet we will not be closed for too many days, I can imagine. Our first concern is to give happiness to every boy and girl in this town, and we shall do that. But not today. Well, I know what would make me happy, Barry said with a greedy smile, to get a look at one of those Goliath Super Wings bicycles. Can we do that today? Well, we've had a few setbacks, the old woman said. That's why we've closed to take inventory, so to speak. The government's plans for John and Susan Kramer didn't quite work out the way we had hoped. You can't rely on John Kramer for anything, Barry snarled. I knew he'd mess up. I was going to tell you that yesterday. Just let him try to get points ahead of me. No one is more number one than I am. Your position is secure, the old woman said and smiled, at least for the moment. At least for the nonce. But we do need to be making arrangements for the future. We have a long, hot summer ahead of us still. We are never closed to our most special customers, such as you. Maybe I'll have some new toys to show you in a few weeks. Maybe not. Things are rather uncertain at the moment. The president of the Cobra Club smiled. He scooped a handful of Sweet Temptations out of a purple bowl that was sitting on a shelf. He stuffed 4 of them into his mouth. Nail flew down and perched on the boy's shoulder. Barry offered a candy to the crow. Nail took it in his bill, then flew over to perch on the cash register. I better be going then, Barry said. He looked around at all the toys in the store. They were so bright and shiny and new that just looking at made his heart beat faster. Come back tomorrow, Mrs. Happy said. Maybe we'll be open for business then, maybe not. The interference we've run into could last for a while. Barry grabbed some more candy, then walked past all the toys to the front door. Mrs. Happy locked it behind him as he went outside. The air still smelled sour. Little paper-thin black ashes dotted the sidewalk and street like flower petals. Barry picked up one of the pieces of ash and saw it was shaped just like the scale of a snake. All the pieces of ash had the same shape. Barry held the burnt scale up to his nose. Yuck, he said, throwing it down. No wonder it smells something like something died around here. Then the president of the Cobra Club hopped on his bike and began pedaling down the street. As he rode, he practiced his new and improved smile. The ashes blew like leaves as the thin wheels of his bike whizzed along. End of chapter 27. A short one, and so is 28. About 3 pages. How many pages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. If anybody's on listening, I'll read it. Tell me you want me to hear. Tell me you want to finish the 28th chapter. Tell me you want me to finish the 28th chapter, and I'll do it. Otherwise, I'm not going to read it. I'll wait till tomorrow night. Gaddy on. Hey, you want me to read chapter 28? Come on now. You probably will. All right. Hey, I'm set up to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Less than 5 pages. Okay. The Greatest Gift of All, Chapter 28. Susan Kramer felt wonderful that Saturday morning. She had slept soundly all night long and woke up feeling rested and secure. Even Aunt Bernice's critical comments about the way Susan cooked scrambled eggs couldn't spoil the girl's mood. She walked around the house in a quiet, thoughtful glow that still lingered from the night before. Deep inside, Susan knew she would never forget her special meeting with the Prince of Kings. After breakfast, Susan, John, Lois, and Catherine met out in the garage. Susan had asked them to come and bring their Goliath toys. Lois and Catherine were a little suspicious, but brought the 2 Goliath Sissy Sassy Sally dolls and 2 Goliath Chalky Squeaks. For the first time in a long time, John seemed to be more relaxed and like himself. Ever since last night, he had been more humble than usual, too, which Susan appreciated. As I told you all last night, we have a little job to do this morning, Susan said. She's wearing her new glasses, and for once she wasn't worrying about the way they made her look. John, you go first. John nodded. He got the Goliath Faster Blaster and Combo Gizmo from off the workbench and put them out on the driveway. Then he got in his Spirit Flyer. The girls got on their Spirit Flyers, too. John rolled over to the 2 black toys and pointed the headlight of the old bike at them. Here goes, he said. Then he flipped on the switch. The light burst out in a flash so bright the children closed their eyes, but the flash only lasted an instant. Wow, Catherine said, they're gone. A small pile of ashes was on the cement where the toys had been. John got up to look at the ashes more closely. In the middle of each pile was a tiny black cube about the size of a kernel of corn. He held it up for the other to see. It's like a tiny piece of darkness, isn't it? John asked. The other children nodded solemnly. I told you there was something wrong about these toys deep down, Susan said simply. They aren't right for people who have Spirit Flyers. Now it's your turn, Lois. Do I have to? Lois whined. Even though they stopped working last night, maybe they can be fixed. That's what I'm afraid of, Susan said. Those toys are nothing but trouble, and you know it, deep down. I don't think you can really play with them and with your Spirit Flyer, too. Now's the time to decide what the kind of fun you're going to have. That's not much of a choice, Lois said. She threw the two toys down before her. She flipped the switch on the bike. She flipped the switch on the light of her old red bicycle. After the flash, all that was left was two smoking piles of ashes with little black cubes in the middle. Everyone then looked at Catherine. She looked at her two Goliath toys and sighed. Is this really necessary? Catherine asked in her tiny voice. Yes, Susan said. I read about it in the Book of the Kings last night with my new goggles. Did you really see him? Catherine asked. Yes, John said softly. And you will too one of these days. In fact, he's here right now, even though you can't see him. He's always been here. We just forget. You better do like Susan says. Those toys are trouble. Okay, Catherine said. I know her voice was full of regret. Since they don't work anyway, I might as well blast him like you guys. I just hope we're doing the right thing. She tossed the two toys down on the driveway. She rolled around in a circle to get in a better position. Then she fiddled a long time with the headlight. Quit stalling, Susan said. Okay, Catherine said. She pointed the light from her small spirit flyer at the toys and flipped the switch. Like the others, it was over in an instant. That's better, Susan said. You know, I do feel kind of nice, Catherine said with a fresh excitement in her voice. I had this crummy feeling, and now it's gone. The change, Susan and John said together. The spirit flyer broke their power. Susan and John looked at each other and laughed. See, we are learning to discover things of the deeper world, Susan said. When I was reading last night, the book said that a person can learn a lot. I want to read some today with those goggles, John said. I've got a lot to catch up on to know as much as you do. Well, it's not a contest, Susan said softly. I see now that I was trying to make it that way. Deep down, I sort of felt like left out when you first got your spirit flyer and got the stolen bicycles back and everything. I guess I wanted to prove I was smarter or better than you or something. But the spirit flyers weren't given for that reason, but to help us as we go deeper on our journeys in this kingdom of the three kings. I read that last night in the book. I had read it before, but it took me until this moment to discover what it meant. I'm sorry if I made you feel bad. That's okay, John said. I've been acting like a real rat these last few weeks, especially lying like I did. I hope you can forgive me. The two children looked at each other, then smiled. Getting those things said was important, and they both felt better. What about all the other Goliath toys in town? Lois asked as she stared at the ashes in the driveway. Yeah, Catherine chimed in. Should we go blast him with our spirit flower headlights? Well, from what I read, they don't work that way exactly, Susan said and frowned. Every person tries to get their own treasure, good or bad. If someone gave you their permission, then maybe the lights would work. Maybe not. I think they would have to have their own spirit flyer and use it themselves. I couldn't use my light on your toys. You had to choose the light over darkness yourself. You had to choose the light over darkness yourself. We don't understand all the ways of the deeper world yet. But sometimes you can share the magic of the kings with our spirit flyers. Like we did last night when the light drove away the darkness of the big snake. We stopped that snake from swallowing the sleepers, but it's not the end of it. That was just one battle and the kings won. We stopped that snake from swallowing the sleepers, but that's not the end of it. That was just one battle and the kings won. There will always be more toys, John said, shaking his head. What's wrong with toys? Catherine asked. Yeah, I like toys, Susan added. Lois added. Toys aren't the problem so much as the ones we want and how badly we want them. I know I felt like a slave, John said. I never really owned the toys underneath the trash pile. But they seemed to own me. All I could think about was getting them. But what was even worse was that I forgot the real treasures I already owned in my spirit flyer. You really can become blind to the gifts all around you. I know I did. Yeah, Catherine said. I don't want to be like that. The children smiled at each other. Susan was about to suggest they all take a bike ride when Lois screamed, Look, Mommy and Daddy are home. They jumped off their bicycles and ran to the street. They had practically surrounded the car before it stopped. Mrs. Kramer opened her door and carefully stood up. The children held back, uncertain. Don't I get a hug? She asked with a smile. In a second, she was surrounded by arms and more arms. Are you okay? Susan asked. Yes, Mrs. Kramer said. I'm doing much better now, and we should be having a new member in our family sometime around Christmas. I'm going to have a new member of my family around Christmas, hopefully. Well, mid-December. New grandchild. I have to figure out how many it is now. Quite a few. Kind of hard to keep track when there's 4 families pumping them out. You never know how many's in the oven, how many ready to pop. They don't. Kind of hard to keep track of the ones I have, and the other ones coming along. Anyway, Hooray! Catherine yelled. We'll have someone else to play with. Now I can be a big sister. I'll be a big help, Mommy. I'm sure you will, Mrs. Kramer said. Mr. Kramer got a suitcase out of the trunk of the car. As he closed the lid, he looked at the 6 tiny piles of ashes on the driveway. Have you kids been burning something? He asked, pointing to the ashes. The children looked at each other and then began to laugh. Not exactly, Susan said. But some exciting things have happened while you were gone. Just wait till you're here. Yeah, I've got some things to tell you too, John said. He looked down at his sneakers. Although he knew it wouldn't be easy to admit that he had lied, he felt relieved to have the chance to make things right. Well, let's all go in the house, Mrs. Kramer said. I could sure use a cool glass of iced tea. Then you can tell us what you've been doing the last few days. The Kramer family linked their arms together as they walked toward the house. Get rid of Aunt Bernice, right? Susan began explaining the adventure of toys and treasures of chains and light. And the more she told, the more Susan herself understood the things she was telling. But this time she knew she had more than words, for she had discovered the greatest treasure of all, the Prince of Kings himself. That's the end of the book. So often when you're teaching is when you're learning. I've always been blessed in public speaking. I always look forward to speaking in public because I most of the time always learn something really deep and heavy. So I want to comment on one thing here. John's talking about all the toys under the trash pile. I never really owned the toys under the trash pile, but they seemed to own me. All I could think about was getting them. What was even worse is I forgot the real treasures I already owned in my spirit flyer. You really can become blind to the gifts all around you. I know I did. Okay, so do the things that you have, that you quote-unquote have or control, do you own them or do they own you? And what I'm seeing in people's lives around me, again, I'm just saying, people get focused on something and getting control of something, and they take control of it by deceit and trickery, like move into a trader without asking permission or having permission at all. And then another person getting focused on that and wanting it and being able to buy it, but wanting control of it. And now that is owning these two people. And it bothers me, but oh well. When you have your truck stuffed full of stuff and it's all your stuff, it's your stuff, and you don't want to give any of up, and you don't want to do anything right. You don't want to make anything right with the person you're taking things from. Do you own those things, or do those things own you? I say they own you. If you're owned by the things that you think that you own, you're a messed up person. You are a messed up person. Yeah, we should have things. I look at this. I'm a steward. I've been a steward of the things that God's given me that I've purchased over the years. I'm a steward of those things, and I buy them to help people. For 40 years I've been buying things to keep people alive someday. And yeah, and I bought them. I paid money. I worked blood, sweat, and tears to purchase them. So in a way, they're mine. But in a greater sense, they're not mine. They belong to the Father. They belong to the kingdom. There's I look at things as they're spirit flyers. Okay, there's the spiritual aspect of the whole thing. Like I help people. They turn on me. They hurt me. They stab me. They lie about me. They cheat me. They steal from me. And I'm sorry, that's on them, not me. I continue to help people, and I'm about to the end of it because I can't afford to keep doing it. So I'm basically, at this point in time, I'll just tell everybody here, I'm out of the helping people game for now, for temporary. There needs to be some kind of rethinking, reinvention. I'm quitting because it's killing me, literally. It's taking my life, sucking my life away, little by little. Nobody cares. My children. One of my children is okay. A couple of them, there's opposition. Let's put it that way. Some opposition, too much opposition, too much animosity, and I'm praying for that to be changed this year. This is 7 years since my divorce, and everybody's kind of sided with the person that caused the divorce and against me. Okay, whatever, that's fine. But I'm praying for a change. This is a Shemitah year. Shemitah in Hebrew means to let go, cutting loose. I was cut loose 7 years ago. First by my business partner, then by my wife. And to this day, nobody has said what I did wrong, if I did anything wrong, no accusations have ever been laid against me. So everybody just assumed that she's right. Me too, me too. Well, guess what? The hashtag Me Too You movement is taking a big hit here with Amber Heard. And Johnny Depp, that whole situation, $20 million, $50 million lawsuit. She's been proven to be a liar over and over again. She continued to lie. She's now continuing to defame him, saying, yes, she stands by her story to her dying day. Well, she could get hit with another $50 million lawsuit. It's not going to happen because it would be a slam dunk. It'd be the fastest court case in history. Liar, 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 liar. Anyway, I've been praying for a change, praying for a restitution of like family land, family things, children, maybe a replacement wife someday, somehow. Older than I was 7 years ago. Obviously 7 years older, 7 years weaker, 7 years poorer, 7 years, I don't want to say dumber, whatever. I'm 7 years different than I was 7 years ago, but I still believe there's a lot for me to do. For a long, long time, for 15 years probably, I've been realizing that I just need to stay alive long enough to be able to be of some value to help people, okay? And that's really the truth of it. I'm trying to be that person that can help people to a greater degree than I ever have before in my life. All the 40 years of work put together, I believe that the future is still greater than that. So that can happen. So that's where I'm looking for. I need some healing. I need some time off. I need a break. I need a sabbatical. I really do. I need just some. I used to tell my family, I saw a movie. I'll tell you what movie it was, but I used to tell my family, look, someday, when the shit hits the fan, I may go comatose, into a coma. I might just go catatonic. That was the word I used. I might go catatonic. Just don't kill me. Just keep me alive, and I'll come out of it in about 2 weeks. Well, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just tired, beat up, worn out, bedraggled. Look, the cat dragged in, Ma. This fat old bald guy. Anyway, I'm believing that things can change and that there is hope. There's always hope, Dawn is ever the hope of man. Well, we'll fight like men and pray and hope, So, I told my family that, and then I watched the movie A Beautiful Mind with Russell Crowe and Jennifer Connelly. And in this movie, this guy is actually insane. He's in a nut house. He's in an insane asylum because he's crazy. He's literally has fantasies, and he's just nuts. But his wife loves him, and she gets him out of there, and she gets him restored and healed, and he's back to where he receives his pen as an honor at this meeting of the greatest minds in the world, scientists and economists and whatnot, for the work that he did. And that was one of the most depressing movies I've ever seen in my life. Because if that was me in the nut house, I would have been put to sleep by my family. And I was like, sad, but true, it would have been true. Yeah, just pull the plug on him, or poison me or something like that, so. Very, very sad realization. All right, that's enough. Sorry. Anyway, I'm hoping for greater things. I'm hoping for, you haven't seen anything yet, I have not seen or heard what he has has in store for those who love him. He can turn everything for the good, and even the mess that I've made in my life, if I've made a mess in my life, he can still turn that around and bring beauty from ashes, and build up a beautiful, beautiful work. I've envisioned it in my head. I've seen it in my head. I wanted to write a book, a trilogy actually. You know, Delirium, Imperium, and Refugium, about developing the Ozark Plateau into a gigantic fortress, a gigantic, castle, like a gigantic safe haven, a gigantic land of Goshen, 50,000 square mile land of Goshen. And I believe that is going to happen. I really do. Whether I'm dead or not, I still believe it'll happen. I see it in my mind. I see it in facts. I see it in history. I see it in geology, geography, the eschatology, the hydrology, the tectonic plateology. It's there. Hydrology, geology, the mineralogy. The way the whole United States is constructed, I see it. Without a shadow of a doubt. So clear that God designed this place perfectly at creation as a gigantic fortress, complete with a moat around it. If things go with the way that a lot of people think they are, and the U.S. Navy map becomes real, the Ozark Plateau will be an island, a peninsula. Let's put it a peninsula. There'll be a sliver of land off to the northwest. Other than that, pretty well around it will be underwater, and it'll look like an island. And it'll be a safe haven because people can't get to it. Rivers and lakes and seas are borders. Look at the United States. 3 sides are bordered by ocean. There's only 4 states in the whole country that are not borders, or not rivers, not figured in borders, part of their borders. Only 4 states. I think Colorado square, New Mexico's maybe square. I think a little in New Mexico is, but Utah maybe one. Yeah, Utah's one. It's only 4, maybe Wyoming. Anyway, rivers are borders. Rivers, lakes, seas are borders. And the United States is configured such that it's almost a slam dunk dead giveaway that it's going to be happen. So, all right, my voice is going. So, good night. God bless everybody. See if we got anybody on there other than. I'm reading Gaddy Allen's comments there. Great flicks of minds. I don't know what that means. Man, my phone's hot. This thing is just cooking. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I'm going to probably be getting a new phone.